Mascherano on what he's expecting of Inter Miami now at the Club World Cup.
No, no tiene nada que ver. No, no, no. El resultado claramente ganar y ganar de esta manera nos da confianza. Nos demuestra que si somos valientes, si estamos tranquilos, si nos animamos a jugar, podemos jugarle de igual a igual a cualquier equipo, sobre todo en la MLS. Después el Mundial de Clubes es otra historia, ¿no? Los rivales, claramente, tengo que ser realista, son de otro nivel, inclusive el Ahly, que todo el mundo piensa que es un rival menor, ya les digo que no es un rival menor, ni mucho menos. Pero bueno, sabemos que claramente, hay que ser sincero, el nivel que vamos a enfrentar es mucho más alto de lo que hemos enfrentado en CONCACAF y en MLS. Si estamos a la altura o no, lo demostraremos a partir del sábado 14 de junio.
So Javier Mascherano was questioning their level, but MLS.com has no doubt. This was their headline. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami reach another level ahead of Club World Cup. Ale, thoughts?
Look, I don't disagree with Javier Mascherano that potentially they're going to meet teams in the Club World Cup that are at a different level. But when did it become the job of a manager, after winning a game in the manner in which you just did, to then bring everybody down and say, now, you know this competition that we're about to have, those expectations that you may have, let's bring them down, all right? Because we're not quite at a competitive levels with this team. I think we're all smart enough to recognize that if Inter Miami were to play against Real Madrid, if that were the case, we can say, yeah, well, there's a difference here. I think we're all smart enough to recognize that Inter Miami is not quite there. But I think we're also smart enough to recognize that, look, if Inter Miami is sort of the flag bearer of Major League Soccer, and they have Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez, and they have all these big names, and it's this big project that attracts so many eyes to Major League Soccer because of the name of Lionel Messi and this what you would consider to be a powerful brand in Major League Soccer. The position of a powerful brand in any league cannot be, Ahly, I don't know, Ahly, I don't know if we're going to be able to. Are we going to be able to overcome this? Who knows if we're going to be able to be better than Ahly? Look, I get it. You want to provide the people with perspective and context. But you just won a game 5-1 at home against a team in Columbus that, over the last few seasons, has been one of the better teams in Major League Soccer. It is not the job of a manager to then say, hey, stop the party, everybody. Turn on the lights. Time to go home. Because let me just tell you, from Saturday, June 14th, we're going to have a real tough time. Come on, man.
So this isn't the first time we've seen this, right? A few weeks ago with Sergio Busquets to DAZN in Spain, pretty much saying we don't have what it takes. We don't have what we need to compete at the Club World Cup. Now it's Mascherano. This has clearly been something that I guarantee Messi, Suarez, Alba, Busquets, Mascherano have all spoken to each other about. I think this is them screaming, pleading, we need reinforcements, we need help, or we're going to get embarrassed. Mascherano could have mentioned Palmeiras. He could have mentioned Porto. But Ahly's right. He's talking about Ahly. And Ahly, while I agree with Mascherano, isn't a slouch here. The winningest team in Africa. A few years ago, the Seattle Sounders, the first Major League Soccer team in modern era to win the CONCACAF Champions League, CONCACAF Champions Cup now, wins, goes to the Club World Cup, and who knocks them out of the tournament? Ahly. So you should be respectful of them because a better team in the Seattle Sounders lost to them. This is a historic team in Africa, and he's saying, hey, I'm not worried about Porto. I'm not worried about Palmeiras. I'm worried about Ahly. This is worrisome. The last thing Major League Soccer needs in front of the world, if the world is going to pay attention to this tournament, because you've got some big teams here, is for arguably the world's greatest player, who is now the face of the league, to be embarrassed at the hands of a club like Ahly.
Look, I'm not, and let me just make this very clear. I'm not saying disrespect these other teams and overlook anybody. I'm just saying this is not the press conference to highlight how good Ahly is, or how good Palmeiras may be, or how good Porto may be. You just won a game 5-1, and your team offensively, if they play at that level, they can be hard to stop. Now, defensively, different story. Different story. But focus on that. Don't start making excuses as to why you're going to lose when you haven't even played the game. You're not even close to playing the game just yet, and you're already telling us how difficult this is going to be. Why?
Because he feels the pressure, Ahly.
Well, okay, right? Okay,
but nobody's saying that Inter Miami is one of the favorites to win the Club World Cup. It's as if everybody was saying that, and they're like, hey, wait, don't expect a lot from us.
It is not the job of a manager to bring down the ceiling of the house and the ceiling of expectation and the ceiling of hope and inspiration for the team.
Yeah.
And some would say it's realism.
But keep it in-house if you're going to be a realist.
Those are things that do not need to be for public consumption.
Exactly.
You don't need to concede to everybody else that we're not at that level.
Yeah.
What message are you sending your players when you're already telling them before they get on the field, they're saying, we're not at that level?
Yeah.
You're already conceding, and you haven't even warmed up yet for the game.
I think it's a massive insecurity from a coach that's never done anything much of worth. He was the U20 coach and couldn't qualify him for the World Cup. And the only reason Argentina went to the World Cup was because it was Malaysia couldn't host the World Cup. So they ended up taking the World Cup over. That went terribly for Mascherano, Argentina. Then he gets the U23 team at the Olympics. Also goes terribly for Mascherano. So Mascherano, the only reason he's in this position to coach Inter Miami is because of his relationship with some of those players.
Right.
So this is a coach, a young coach, and an experienced coach who's feeling the pressure here, and as they say in Espanol, abriendo el paraguas. He's already trying to justify why things may go south.
Yeah, the storms are coming.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, gotta get
Feeling the
something
pressure in Major League Soccer. Feeling the pressure in Major League Soccer.
I know what you're saying, Ahly. I know what you're saying, but I think at a club like Inter Miami, there are a few coaches out there, big coaches that would say, I'd like that.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I get it. I'm with you. I hear you. But come on now. Is this? We just got done talking about Vicente Sanchez losing his job after he won CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Yeah.
That's pressure.
Of course.
That's pressure. Inter Miami.